Hey, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. My name is Salvador Briggman, and no matter where you're hailing in, whether you're from the United States or you're from Europe or you're from Asia, I think you're getting a ton of value out of today's podcast episode. And that's really what I love to do on this show, is just to bring you the real deal when it comes to crowdfunding. What the heck do you got to do in order to blow past your goals on platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo In Demand, on other platforms as well, like WeFunder, Equity Crowdfunding, you name it. How do you really harness the power of the crowd in order to move your life forward, to get a new project out there, to get an invention into other people's hands? It's a really special mechanism, crowdfunding, because you're building trust with people who you've never met before, which is one of the coolest things, I think, about the crowdfunding industry and getting new products out there. On this show, we go through the inner workings of that. And actually today, I brought on a campaign that actually launched and was able to get 6 figures with crowdfunding. And this individual, this is his first product, his first campaign, and he shared with you exactly what you got to know if you want to go big with your project. So if you want to do a 6-figure campaign, if you want to incorporate some different strategies like meta advertising, and as well, if you want to use PR and be able to use press releases and different techniques when it comes to getting media attention to really have people singing your praises and to kind of create like this ripple effect around your campaign where you're getting media mentions and headlines and bloggers are writing about you and people are talking about you on social media, I think this is going to be a great podcast episode for you. So if you're not familiar, I got started in the industry in 2012, and I made it my mission to provide high quality education and information. I also started this podcast in 2015. We've hit over 500 successful case studies and interviews on this show. So it's a really special medium when it comes to that. And if you are a member of the Crowdfunding Demystified community, we can tell that because you are an action taker, you're consuming education, you're moving forward in life, and you're not letting anything hold you back. You're someone who you see an excuse and you decide to go the other way and to just go straight towards your goals. Sometimes that takes longer, though, to get there than others. And if you want to speed up this process and you more so want to get as well media attention, you want to get people to talk about you online, you want to get people accolades and really racking up some of those media mentions online, you can go to this free course I'm about to mention called crowdcrux.com/PR. That link is in the description, but it's crowdcrux.com/PR. Go to that link, enter your name and email, and you can get access to my free course showing you how to get into the media and also smash your campaign goal on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Really useful. And like I said, it's a great way. If you're already going with a launch, you can just kind of pour some fuel on that fire. Again, that link, crowdcrux.com/PR. And lastly, if you do want to speed up this process even more and you really want to have more specific techniques, tactics, and tools going into the launch, I got a great book out there, which is available via Amazon, paperback, and also on Audible. Most of y'all love it when I get passionate reading on Audible. So if you want to check out that link on Audible, you can get a free copy when you get a free trial of Audible at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That link is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio at that link, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. Link again in the description. Let's jump into this episode and get into how this individual was able to launch a 6-figure crowdfunding campaign. It's coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today we are speaking with a creator who's been able to crack the 6-figure mark with crowdfunding for SideLights, the first 360 and double beam safety bike lights. This is for turn signals, double beam, handlebar, integrated, shock resistant, theft proof, easy charging, and unique innovation. And we have the creator here today on the show. We are lucky enough to speak with him. Arthur, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks a lot to invite me. It's a pleasure to join the podcast today.
Definitely. Maybe you can fill some gaps in that introduction, tell the listeners a bit more about your product and what you've created here.
Yeah, so just a bit to explain a bit the background. I am a passionate cyclist, and all my family also is involved in cycling. And we just created a new lighting system for bicycle that we put at both ends of the handlebar. And the first goal of that is to improve the safety and visibility of cyclists around the world.
Have you created a product before, or is this your first one?
It was really my first product. I just had the idea during my studies in bachelor. So I'm kind of young, so I didn't have the opportunity to do something before. But as a background, my grandfather was an entrepreneur, my father also, and all during my childhood and when I was also growing up, I had the idea one day to start something, a product or another startup. And yeah, I had this good idea of bicycle lighting system, and yeah, that's where I started.
Have you had other products idea as well? Why did this one really stand out for you?
Yeah, this one because as I just said before, I am a really passionate cyclist. I've been doing BMX racing at a pretty high level for more than 20 years. I started when I was 5 years old. And currently, I'm still doing it at a really high level. I'm racing European Cups,
Cool.
World Cups as well.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm really into sports and cycling. I also have my sister who's got a medal at the Olympics in Paris in BMX. So we are dedicated in the family to cycling, and yeah, all the day I'm commuting with my bike in the city to go to work or to where we were. So yeah, I
Love
need
it. Love it.
let's say I'm a power user of bicycle, and yeah, it was one day I was coming back from school. I was still a student in bachelor, and yeah, I remember it was a bit the end of the day. It was a bit dark, and I told myself, but how can I be more visible on the road? Because I was not feeling safe with all the cars passing me. I was on the road with my bike, and I asked myself the question that's how can I improve that? And that's where I came up with the idea to put two lights at both end of my handlebars in order to be more visible. And yeah, the idea came from there pretty much.
I think a lot of people have ideas, throughout the day, but one thing separates you, which is that you took action and you actually got this out there and you created a prototype, right? Can you tell us a little bit of the story of how it went from just had an idea in your head to being able to actually make something?
Yeah, it's been quite a long journey because as I told you, I was a student when I started, so I got absolutely no cash, no funds to put in the project. Yeah, I think first of all, I was lucky to be a student, and as I'm living in Switzerland, we have a quite good program to help entrepreneurs with innovative ideas or technologies. Mm-hmm. And I was able to pitch that idea to a contest that I could win and get some first fundings. And after that first one, I did more contests, and we could get some grants and start prototyping. So yeah, I didn't do the prototype by myself because I'm not an engineer, but I could find some people to help me in this project, and we got some first very basic prototype to try the concept, and after that we could get something that was looking better.
So it sounds like, one of the most important things is just to be willing to put yourself out there, right? And to be willing to communicate about your idea and really to put your, control who you're surrounding yourself with. Because like you said, you couldn't pull this off on your own. You had to attract a team to be able to really get this together.
Yeah, exactly. I know that I was pretty good at presenting the project. I was putting a lot of energy in this. With also a very good idea of what I wanted as a prototype, but at the same time, I didn't have all this technical background, engineering background. So yeah, and in fact, I was also a bit lucky because in my university there was also a part for engineer, so I could find some people there to prototype for me, to work with me to prototype and do the research and development. And at the same time, I was for me able to do all the, let's say, the business around that. So yeah, you are right that I couldn't do it alone, really.
Let's flash forward in the story to when you really started to, think about using crowdfunding. Was that something you had considered before? Were you aware of crowdfunding in your area of the world? How did that discussion start?
Yeah, I didn't, before doing this crowdfunding, I didn't know anything about crowdfunding. But it was for me kind of a dream. because I remember that I heard some things about Kickstarter that people could raise money from nothing pretty much, and I was really excited to one day do it. So once we had let's say a good prototype that was looking good and it was in the good shape that I wanted, we started to work on the campaign. So I started to learn, to read, to listen to podcasts like yours a lot to know how it does work. Because at the beginning I was just thinking, okay, you just have a good idea, you make a video and it's ready, and
Right.
now I know it's absolutely not the case. You have a lot of work to do before the campaign to reach your goal. And that was, first of all, a dream that I had to have a good idea and go find people to invest in my project. Because, when you are young, when you don't have a lot of contacts, it's also hard to find investors in a project like this.
So, education, as you mentioned, and being willing to learn new things, right? Listen to new voices. That sounds like something that was important for you. If we were to talk about like the night before you went live, now you've done all this education, this work, getting things together. What did it feel like the night before you went live with this campaign?
Oh, I was so nervous. I remember I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep a lot, to be honest, because there was so much to do. And, even if I planned everything pretty well, at the last time, you always have a bit of stress. And we had some problem with the video, uploading the video on the page. 5 minutes before the launch, I couldn't put the video on the Kickstarter page. So I was so nervous. And we could just start the campaign in, let's say 30 seconds before it was ready. So,
that'll give you some white hairs.
But I like to have pressure. I like this feeling of being on fire now. So it was a good time still.
And what ended up happening, we'll just say the first week after you went live, what was the response like?
It was really good. To be honest, in 1 hour, we had more than 10,000 Swiss francs, which is a bit more than 12,000 US dollars. And after 1 day, 2 days, something like this, we almost got 30,000, which was really good. But we had a really strong start because our pre-campaign was pretty good. Before starting the crowdfunding, we had already 5,000 emails of people willing to buy the product and 500 VIPs, people who already gave a bit of money to reserve the product at the best price. So we knew that at the beginning would have to be strong, but after that we still had to do some work after the week 1 to keep putting engagement from backers.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they think about doing, pre-launch or pre-campaign, they kind of get nervous because they're like, what happens if these people don't show up? What if they don't like it? Did you have any thoughts like that when you were going through that initial phase?
Oh yeah, really, really, because even if it gives you confidence that people subscribe to the email and pay a bit of money before it starts, it gives you a bit confidence. But at the end, you don't know if they will put, because our product was more than 100 US dollars. So it's kind of a lot of money for some people, and you don't know if they will buy. And I was nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen after we launched. Yeah, really.
One of the things I also noticed on your campaign page, and obviously you have a really beautiful product as well. It looks super well designed and also very robust when it comes to that. It looks like you've also been able to get a little bit when it comes to media accolades, right? And some press attention. Do you mind telling us a tiny bit about your experience with that?
Yeah. So first, thanks about your comment on the products. We put a lot of engagement in not doing something which is a good idea, but a really good product and innovation. We put a lot of money on the table to go to there. We also partnered with a really, really good designer who is engaged in bicycle brands with the most popular bicycle brand in the world. So it was really good. And after that, with all this setup, also with a good page and a good website, we could go to media. And yeah, we were a bit lucky to have a lot of articles from a bit old kind of media, bicycle media, national medias in Switzerland, crowdfunding also, websites. And it brought a lot of traffic.
If you're worried about the fulfillment and shipping part of your Kickstarter campaign when it comes to getting out all those perks and rewards to your backers, rest assured I've put together a complete Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping checklist for you, and it's free. This is sponsored by the folks at Fulfillment, and they thought that you should have this checklist as part of your arsenal going into a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to get instant access to this checklist and it's free, you can go to fulfillrite.com/checklist. Again, that is fulfillrite.com/checklist, fulfillrite.com/checklist. Just go to that link and you can download it immediately. In thinking about the media, I think that's kind of a big question mark for many creators that are out there. Were you just reaching out via email? Were you doing press releases? Were you DMing them on Instagram? How were you getting the attention of some of these media outlets?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I was asking the same question when I was trying to reach people. So yeah, first of all, we had a press release on our website, so people could go check the press release. Also, there was a link with a lot of picture that they could use for articles. And then once we had that, I directly went to people, to journalists, and contact them in person. If you try to contact the info at the journal, sometimes it's not working because people do not reply. But if you can find the people who's writing the articles in the same field that you are in, this is working pretty well. And what I did, which could be a good advice for some people, I was writing directly to the journalist on LinkedIn, and I could get some really good articles out of it.
And in terms of your pitch to them, because I mean, this is golden information and this is going to help so many people. Were you just saying like, hey, I have a campaign out, or were you telling the story behind it? Like, what was your message kind of like there?
I think you have to understand what is valuable for the journalist. If you have an amazing concept or idea, our product was very innovative, so it was something like this. You speak about that, but you have to be very concise because they receive a message, maybe they read the first 2 or 3 sentences, and then they stop reading if it's not interesting for them. So yeah, really, let's say you have to do this elevator pitch to catch their attention.
Right. So making sure you get their attention and being aware. I love what you said there of like putting yourself in someone else's mind, being empathetic, like understanding why they would write about you.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, that's incredible that you've been able to get so many of these media publications. I'm sure that, like you said, delivered a lot of traffic when it comes to the campaign. Just between you and me, like, what has been the most rewarding part of this experience? I mean, you mentioned being kind of like a competitive guy. Was it the hitting targets? Was it the being able to get outpouring of support and feedback? Was it getting in the media? What do you feel like was the most rewarding part of the process?
I don't have one thing that I can tell you, but I can maybe give you a bit different answers. First of all, yeah, it's a good marketing action, to be honest. If you then come to people and say, okay, I don't already have the products in my hands, but I can tell you that we already sold 700 units. This gives you a very good story, and people believe more in your project. So that's a first thing. Personally, it was also a very, very good test because now we are investing in molds, in building molds, tooling, other stuff, and that's a lot of money. And imagine you invest that before knowing people will want to buy your product. So the fact of testing it is a really good thing. And for me, it was also bringing more confidence okay, I had this idea, I have this product which is very good, and people want it. So it gives you a lot of confidence. And maybe the last thing was about funding. The fact of being funded by your customers is a really really good thing, and you don't have to give shares at this point to people. This is maybe something I will do later, but for now I want to keep everything, all the shares of the company.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a luxury for sure. What was the reaction like, among your friends, among your family, and also with the rest of your team? I mean, your product manager, people you're working with, what was kind of like the reaction like to the campaign?
Yeah, I have a lot of people. They were really impressed because they couldn't think so much people would get it, especially at the beginning, because in only a few hours you have a lot of money, and people, most of them, they don't really know what's behind it. They don't know that you spend thousands of dollars in ads, for example. So they are really impressed, and yeah, that's a very good very good story to tell to other people.
Yeah, and I can imagine that's a great feeling as well, knowing that your parents and you have it's coming from like a generation of entrepreneurs, right? And
Yeah.
you're putting out your product and it's connecting well. Like I'm sure that's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, and I was also very happy to share it with some people of my family. And as I told you, my father is also an entrepreneur, so he never did a crowdfunding, but he was really happy to also support me and discuss with me about that. So yeah, it was a really exciting experience. I want of I want to do one more time. I guess it is my first crowdfunding, but I don't want it to be my last one.
Right.
Yeah. So I would recommend, if some people here have a good idea, something they want to launch, it's worth it to try it on a crowdfunding.
In thinking about this, if you could rewind the clock or even for your next campaign, is there anything you would do differently or is there anything that you would incorporate more into the launch? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think about two or three main things. First of all, we were a bit late with the product. So we received the product a bit at the last time, let's say the final prototype. So it was a bit the hurry to do all the videos and media stuff. If we had one more month, it would have been a bit better for all the media, all the
Oh, I
videos
see.
and photos we had to do. So this is the first thing. The second would be the price. I think the price we made at the beginning, the early bird,
Right.
was very low. And I don't know I think that even with a higher price, people would have buy it. And it would have given us more margin to then do all the things we have to do now. Yeah, this is something I think I was a bit too kind with the price, but anyway, when you are launching the product, you don't know if people would buy it, so you want to give it super discount, and
Right.
that's it.
It can be kind of scary as well to charge, a higher amount for a product because what happens if people don't buy it, right?
Exactly.
And you just kind of want to make sure you get that validation, but at the same time, people value the things they pay for, right? And especially when you pay for something more, you're going to value it more. So I can totally see being torn in two different arenas in that way.
Yeah, exactly. You have to find a good balance, and of course, it's a crowdfunding, so you have to give to the backer a good price because he's taking some risk for you also. So definitely, you have to give good price, but at the same time, you also need your margin to then buy the products to do all the developments you need to do. All the molding cost, tooling cost, which is very expensive. For us, it will work, but yeah, maybe I was a bit too low with the price.
Yeah, I mean, if I was listening to the podcast, just even looking at this, number one, this is your first product. You'd be able to crush it, do a 6-figure campaign. It's very well designed. You're dotting your I's, you're crossing your T's, just so that people know you're like a human being. Is there any mistakes that you feel like you made or any pitfalls that you fell into, or any ways in which you can communicate that to the audience?
Yeah, like I think during the campaign, like the 2 months before the campaign, I was very, very busy. I had so much to do, like working all the time, sleeping less than usual, and I was very, very tired at the end. So I would say that it's not the crowdfunding is not a sprint; it's more a marathon. So
Mm-hmm.
I would I would recommend, or for me, I would try to not be burning myself during the campaign, because it's a long run. Um,
Mm.
yeah, and
Well
this
said.
is a mistake that I made at the very beginning of the project when I had the idea. It was end 2020, so it was a long time ago. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I had a lot of development, of thinking on the product before going there, and I was
Right.
maybe yeah I was maybe too confident with the people around me, and I didn't sign contracts with some people that I should have. And yeah, it can bring some problems. So what I recommend and what I do with everyone now is to sign a good contract with every people working with me. Uh, yeah, it's good. Everyone knows what the terms are, and it's better like this. So I would recommend, if you work with people, sign contracts. That's my
Well
advice.
said. Well said. Well said. I appreciate you for sharing that. Well, this has been awesome. Where can people go to learn more about your product? And also, if they are interested, where can they go pre-order your product as well?
Yeah, we are still live on Indiegogo, Indiegogo in demand. So if people want to be the first to get their SideLights on the bike, it's time to find our page directly on Indiegogo.
And they should search SideLights, SideLights on Indiegogo. And I think you also have a website, right?
Yeah, we have a website with a lot of information about the innovation, the product, or the compatibility also. And if people have any question, they can just contact us on Instagram or by email, and I will be happy to answer.
Okay, I'll make sure to link that up in the show notes down below. So I just have one or two more questions for you here. So the first would be, you've had an incredible run, and I think this is a great journey. If you really were to think about this launch, is there any kind of word of encouragement or any kind of lesson that comes to mind that you'd like to share with like a beginner, someone who's just kind of getting started, anything like that?
First of all, I would say that you have to test your ideas. If you have a good idea, a good concept, a good product or service, I would test it really quickly. It can start with presenting the idea to people, maybe not your friends or your parents, because mostly they will say it's good, even if they think it's not the case. But if you test it on social media, it's working very good, because on social media, if you post something, people, they don't have any filters. They say just really what they think, and this was the case with me. I did some tests by doing ads with my product, and was just looking for having comments and feedbacks, and this was very, very helpful. So I would recommend to do it, especially on Meta, Facebook, Instagram. It's working really well.
Very cool. Very cool. My final question for you, and this can be outside of the realm of crowdfunding. Are there any books or any tools that you recommend people to check out? It could be books that you like or that you've read in the past outside of the realm of crowdfunding, or it could be any tools that you found to be really useful.
Yeah, I don't read a lot because I don't really take time for that. But what I like to read is books from Mike Horn. He's a professional explorer living in Switzerland, and yeah, he did so many incredible things. And it gives me a lot of inspiration on resilience, on facts, to going out of your comfort zone, and it brings me a lot of motivation to work on my crowdfunding and on my company.
Did you have a title in mind? You mentioned the author there. Was there a book title?
He did many different books, but the one I'm reading right now, Conquérant de l'impossible. The name in English is Conquering the Impossible. So this one
Oh, cool.
is a good one. He's doing the you had the Arctic cycle, and he's doing this road which is very dangerous.
Wow. Super cool. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. I'll be sure to link everything up in the show notes, and good luck with your next campaign here as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I hope the best for all the people who want to start a crowdfunding soon.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Dude, I think we learned a ton when it comes to this crowdfunding episode. And I would say as well, I think being able to launch a product from a place like Switzerland or from Europe and being able to, gain access to the US marketplace is so freaking cool that we're having an international base of creators who all value the same thing, which is really great design, great craftsmanship, good materials, and bringing something into the world that's going to have a positive impact, while at the same time building a business, building a brand from scratch, and being able to maybe even, fund that and have enough capital to grow that, and then to, impact other people in your life, to have this be your full-time pursuit, to grow something from scratch that ends up hiring and having other people work at your company. It's such a cool phenomenon, crowdfunding. And if you do appreciate this, number one, take a second to give a positive rating and review on today's podcast episode. All you got to do is leave a positive rating and review on iTunes, or if you're listening to this on YouTube, just give me a thumbs up and come subscribe to the channel. In addition, if you want to go a layer deeper when it comes to launching this campaign, if you want to do this right, buy the book, dot your I's, cross your T's, set up a strong foundation going into the campaign, and have this be something that, you could be doing something else in life. This really begins the start of a snowball, which is going downhill, picking up speed, and allows you to plow into a new category, to totally dominate a new niche, a new market, a new industry. This is something that, in my opinion, is worth its weight in gold. And that's what I'm talking about, is these individual one-on-one coaching calls where I make myself available to the community, and you can go there, you can book an intensive one-on-one coaching call with me where we go through the inner workings of your campaign. We set up your campaign for success. I have also people book those calls where they're not really even aware of some of the tools and techniques out there, the people in the industry as well. Maybe they don't even know if they want to go down the path of crowdfunding, and they just kind of want a trained eye to assess their product and their campaign and to decide which platform is best as well. Or you're already set on the launch and you want to make sure that you're doing this right, and even talk about, some other longer term things like longer term coaching or executional help. We can talk about that more on this individual one-on-one coaching call at the link crowdcrux.com/coaching. That link again is crowdcrux.com/coaching. Crowdcrux.com/coaching will take you there, and I'll include that link in the description. But these are designed to be extremely useful one-off calls that sets you up for success, and that you come away from that sucker with a renewed sense of confidence, and more specifically, know-how. Because I don't know about you, but when I know what I'm doing, man, oh man, do I feel confident and powerful, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And that mystery can just eat away at you, right? Especially if you're investing a lot of time and money going into a campaign. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. One assignment for you, one homework assignment, is not only about taking action this week, but think about how this could impact your legacy. Think about, by getting a new product out there, a new brand, building something from scratch, a business, how can that impact generations in the future when it comes to your legacy? And really, why is this something that you are willing to go through the fire in order to go through? Because I think you need that strong why, right? In order to really persist and really begin to think about, what is my why when it comes to a crowdfunding campaign? Besides that, hope you enjoyed this episode. My name is Salvador Briggman, and I'll see you next time. We have a great episode in the hopper for next week, so I'm so excited for you to listen to that. But if nothing else, go out there, take some action, and I'll see you next time.